And now we are at our last trio of presenters. And this last group of Lightning Talk speakers today, in these, we're trying to highlight some ways to make tech and tech tools work for everyone, whether by attempting to solve existing problems or harnessing new technologies. And we are starting this one off with Amina Fazlullah, Head of Tech Policy Advocacy at Common Sense, with a presentation called AI and Kid Safety.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here for the 15. So my name is Amina Fazlullah. I'm Head of Tech Policy Advocacy at Common Sense Media. And at Common Sense, we've been focused on trying to understand how we can support kids and families as they use technology. Right now, everybody is laser focused on trying to understand how we can improve kids' lives through their use of AI. And it is September 9th. So that means about 55 million kids are in school. And we're all starting to hear a lot of encouragement for them to use AI tools. There's a lot of promise in that, but there are also real consequences around safety. And most recently, our work has been focusing on trying to assess a lot of the AI tools that kids are using. We're already finding that about 1 in 7 kids, and this is old news, so about a year or two ago, we're using AI tools for education, but also for personal use. And I'm going to try to advance my slide. And most recently, we found that about 72% of teens are already using something called AI companions. Now, AI companions are a little bit different from what most people might think about when they're thinking of an AI tool for school. AI companions are going to be more emotionally engaging. They're capable of building a relationship with the student. It could be like a mentorship. It could be more personal, more emotional. It could be something like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship or just a standard friendship. A lot of AI companions will even pretend to be therapists or teachers, give a backstory about how something hurt them once, which we all know is not true because these are products and not people. And in our research, we found that not only are about 72% of kids using AI companions or teens, 50% of them are regular users, and a third found conversations with AI as satisfying or more satisfying than human conversations. This was really shocking to us because it's a relatively new technology that kids are already jumping into and already becoming more emotionally reliant. The development of relationships happens over a long period of time. In childhood, your adolescence, and even your young adult years, these are formative years for how humans develop their understanding of what relationships are like, how to build them, and what to expect out of them. We don't really know what the impact of artificial relationships will have on kids, but we're already hearing some of the devastating consequences of some kids engaging in these. Most recently in California, there is a child who started using an AI chatbot for educational purposes. And around a year later, his engagement with that chatbot led to his suicide, aided by the chatbot. There are also stories that have emerged of students and kids developing relationships with AI companions and being led into harmful types of behaviors, being encouraged to engage in a minor adult relationship or encouraged to figure out how to build a bomb. So there are real concerns around the conversations that are happening with these AI companions. Also, when I think about privacy, the inputs that students are putting into these AI companion chatbots can be incredibly detailed. And it's not just about them. It can be their parents, their families, their neighbors, other kids. It can include location information, immigration status, really anything, because they're just having a conversation with this product. So who's in control? Well, it's hard to say, really. Model developers theoretically train the models. They could train them with a little bit more safety in mind from the get-go, but that's not what we're seeing right now with model developers. Social AI companion deployers can use various techniques to try to fine-tune the training. But most recently, we've heard of failures with those types of fine-tuning attempts, mainly because of potentially the duration of a conversation, sort of the extended conversation, but also the reliance on fine-tuning on common language. So if a kid is using language about, I want to go home, instead of I want to kill myself, that can be hard for a model to ascertain. Also, a model is not good at identifying whether or not somebody's in psychosis or crisis, and can sometimes exacerbate those moments. So we've been doing risk assessments to try to understand how these different products are operating, and try to give tools to parents and teachers and others who might be using this. What we found is that they blur the line between real and fake. I'm going to move through these fast because I want to make sure we can get to questions. We've also found that they can encourage poor life choices, share harmful information, and expose teens to inappropriate content. And right now, we've got some, opportunity. A lot of policymakers are very interested in trying to provide some safeguards around the use of AI companions. And so in California and in New York already, New York has already passed legislation. California is going further right now, considering legislation that would protect kids in particular. Thank you.